One-year-old Franco Patino is one of the victims who is from Naperville, Illinois. He also died at this festival. He attended the University of Dayton in Ohio, where he studied biomedical engineering, a field he went into because he wanted to help his mother, who suffers from a rare health condition. Joining us right now is Rachel Laferriere, one of Franco's friends. First of all, Rachel, thank you for joining us. This is not easy for anybody, and having this conversation early this morning is so important to keeping the memory of your friend alive. First of all, our condolences to you. Can you tell us a little bit about Franco? You met him while you were studying at the University of Dayton, is that right?
Yes, it is. I met Franco my freshman year of college, friends of a friend, and he was somebody I instantly gravitated towards because he's so smiley and energetic and lovable, and he always had something nice to say about everyone. And he's just somebody that you look at and you think, like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be just like him, or I want to be like best friends with him. And I was really lucky that we instantly connected and we had a beautiful friendship that's lasted all the way from freshman year until now. He's been one of my closest friends.
Well, I'm glad that you have such fond memories of him. I would think that there was some shock when you heard the news. Did you know that he was attending this music festival?
Yes, I saw it on his Snapchat story the day of him posting about how he was in this crowd and how busy it was. I can't remember the exact words that he said. And at like 3 a.m. that night, I saw the news article about people who had passed away, and I screenshotted it and I sent him that text.
Wow.
And I said, hey, please tell me you're alive and okay. And I immediately cried, not knowing what had happened yet. Just at the thought of him not being okay, I immediately cried. And I went to bed that night not getting a response, and I thought, it's like 3 a.m., he's probably asleep. And then in the morning, I didn't get a text. And then I had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, can you call me? It's really urgent. And my heart dropped without, having not gotten a response from him. And I was in the middle of the street and walking somewhere, and I was on the phone with my friend, and he told me, and I stopped and, started freaking out. And thank God for that friend for telling me personally. I really appreciated that. But it was a moment stuck in time for me that I know that I won't forget.
Yeah. What do you think could have been done differently, or what do you think should be done differently so that something like this doesn't happen again?
Well, I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly everything that happened. I know everything is still being figured out, with the police and all. But I think that there should be a lot more people out there, in the crowd, trying to make sure that everyone is okay. More security and stuff, and more medics. And I think that the way that the festival was handled, with everybody being able to push through and get so jam-packed, was handled so poorly. I don't think that should have been able to happen at all. And I don't even know what led to my friend passing. I don't know exactly what it was yet, which is really hard to not know. And I think that it should have been halted immediately, with the people who are climbing up on the things and yelling to the camera operators, hey, this show needs to be stopped. There's some crazy stuff going on, like deadly situations, and people who keep working and doing their job. But in a case like that, responding to other people is so much more important than the show. I know there's the show must go on, but it must not when it's a case like this. And I think it's so hard for me to think about how the show kept going on for so long. And I don't even know when in the show my friend left us.
Right.
But
Lots of questions, lots of confusion in those moments, and sadly, people dying as a result. Rachel, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing stories of your friend.
Of course, thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.